No ia, Nusampula, and warm Pacifica greetings. Welcome to another episode of the Pacific Health Talanoa Show with Lorenzo on Blue TV. Today, the Monday, the 15th of November 2021. MVP or MegaVax Pacific Drive-Thru Vaccination event was held on the weekend, last weekend at Mount Smart Stadium from Friday until Sunday. Very successful event. While getting people vaccinated was the ultimate outcome, MVP was also a glimpse of the possibilities when Pacific communities come together to work with central government and local government to help advance our Pacifica people in Aotearoa. So amazing to see like-minded people with the heart for community deliver a successful event. The weather was challenging, but MegaVax Pacific danced through it all to cheer our people as they came through to get vaccinated. This is the Pacific spirit of resilience and self-determination that will take Pacific forward to the new norm in Aotearoa. Joining me to talk more about MVP is Fesaitu Solomone, a Pacific community leader, also a rotoman, PMN rotoman on 581 PI producer. No ia Fesaitu?
Mai mauri Lorenzo, talofalava malo lelei, pakaloflayatu, kiarana, malo ni mauri, and a warm Pacific greetings on a beautiful Monday afternoon here. So I'm looking forward to speaking to you about the MegaVax Pacific event that just finished for Yaxia.
Awesome. Whaia se ea, and Renaka Vakalevu for your time. Thank you so much for joining me on the Pacific Health Talanoa to talk more about the very successful Pacific community-led drive-through vaccination events. Wow. WOW, just a wow. I was there at the event and I was wowed. I was overwhelmed. I was so excited, and I guess that, you experienced the same. But can you share with our viewers and listeners about the whole, the vision and the mission of the MVP committee?
For Yaxia, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the work of the leadership from the Pacific Leadership Forum, and that's the leadership of TLAI, and also for our Pacific COVID response team, the chair as well with Manase, for their leadership and the vision that they wanted to bring our Pacific communities together, and not just because of COVID, because it's potential for the first time for us to do something as big as the MegaVax Pacific as well. So this was one major event, and the planning that went through it in terms of the event itself and the work that was put in. The vision was to push it through to ensure that our people get vaccinated to protect not just ourselves, but to protect our Pacifica communities. And as you can see, the data from our community, our Pacifica people, we can be the most vulnerable in terms of with the COVID as well. And so taking an approach, not only did we start off with our ethnic specific community vaccinations, but we also brought it ended with a MegaVax specific event. So the vision, as you see, the outcome is to get our people vaccinated so that we can, first of all, go out into the communities and do the things that we normally would want to do, especially as we approaching summer. And secondly is to protect our families as well from getting hospitalized, as the message from our Ministry of Health. So I think those are the key things. That the vision is to not only bring our people together, but also to make sure that we are protected in the space.
Awesome. Fesaitu. Now, the MegaVax Pacific drive-through vaccination event at Mount Smart Stadium was one of its kind. What I mean by that is it was the very first drive-through vaccination events that actually brought leaders of the 9 Pacific nations together to drive and to deliver such a successful event. Can you share about your experience working with, with the likes of Pakilao Manaselua, Tele Ai Edwin Puni, Reverend Church ministers, and other Pacific leaders, Saitu?
Whawhetai, it's really amazing. I must say amazing in the sense that it's not an easy thing to work with different Pacific ethnic groups, but also personalities, bringing different leadership. We've got both church leaders and community leaders coming to the same space. And that's to try and create the mana of working for our people. And, as I said in the beginning, the leadership, when you have good leadership, vocal leadership is always good to actually push our people forward, but also at the same time that whilst we at that level, the acknowledgement of the people who is actually going to come to deliver the work. And it's important that everybody works together. We may not get it right the first time, but it's a learning lesson for all of us, that the areas that we can look into bringing our people more and more together. It might not be the VEX, it might be something else. So, but my experience throughout the event has been full of wonderful things. And one of the things that highlight for me for the event was our young people in our Tonga, Fiji, and Rotuma village, having our Tongan Youth Trust, our youth members come through and lead it for our people. They fronted it. They made sure that people are welcomed in a warm, and the music as well. And so I think for me, the highlight is their leadership has brought our people together, which is not something as easy to see, both our community and our church leaders coming together. So, at the forefront of it, I believe that the event has really started something huge. It's always been to the journey of their vision as part of the Pacific Leadership Forum. So my whole view on this is it's only going to grow from here, and more potential for more events to happen. But yeah, for me, the highlight is seeing and hearing the music of our Pacifica people. It's like a Pacific festival, but it's a vaccination festival, to save lives.
Vinaka, Itu. Now, two of the most famous broadcasters in the whole world from the Pacific send their love, Miss Georgie Vai and Miss Pea Semu. They are on our live right now sending their love to you, Itu. Now, let's go back to the events, Itu. What was the response from our community? Did we achieve or did you reach the targets? And how many people that you managed to jab on the 3 day over the 3 days event?
The target that we set was 10,000, and we wanted to make sure that everybody gets that opportunity to get vaccinated from the community that's left. However, we reached about 2,700, and that's again, although we didn't reach the target, we actually reached it's a huge achievement to be vaccinating almost 3,000 people in 3 days. And then we can see if it's only one, even if it's one person, it's awesome to get one over the line to protect our people. So 2,700 was really, a great, it's a huge effort from our people to actually, and we have to remember as well, there were so many vaccinations happening in Tamaki Makaurau. So you can see our churches, our communities were running simultaneous events throughout the weeks and even on the weekends. So our people were going everywhere. And we're not only seeing just our Pacifica people coming through, we're seeing all of our Palangi families coming through as well. So, even though the target is, it's good to set a high target because then we work towards it. And even if we go over it, it's still good enough. But to have almost 3,000 people vaccinated, it's awesome.
Absolutely. Itu, I just want to acknowledge the work of the whole committee and everyone that was involved, bringing MVP to Mount Smart and bringing it to life. I just want to say that every vaccination counts. Every vaccination matters. Whether it is one person, two people, or even more, every vaccination counts. Now, were there were there any challenges, as part of the committee for MVP? Would you like to share one or two challenges that the committee faced leading up to the event?
Yeah, and I know I'm not too sure if I'm able to share, but I know the challenges will always be about
It is an open
finance
space,
for us.
so feel free to share.
But it's always about, finance is always going to be an issue for us to bring, even our key health organizers to be in the space, to bring them in. And I know those are the challenges in terms of from the finance side, but what we as a collective, even for my community, and I speak specifically for my community, it's always hard to bring, people into a space for us to volunteer, and we continuously volunteer our time and effort space. One of the things that I want to reflect back is more so the report that the ministry did in terms of the hours and hours of voluntary work that our people, our Pacifica people are committed in the space, whether it's in church, families or schools or in the wider community. Our people give in thousands and thousands of hours of serving our people in the space. And that's what we brought to the space as well. We worked without being paid through this as leaders of our communities. Whatever little money that we had, we acknowledged or we paid for the food to help feed our people, our young ones. And so that's, for me, the challenge will always be about finance to help bring an event together. These contributions, we had people giving their contributions in kind, paying for this, donating prizes and stuff. And so I must say that's the challenges were always for us. But when we have people who are really committed to the cause and value and love our Pacifica people, that's where it offsets what we're doing. And so money will always be a financial barrier, but it balances out with our love and our heart and our soul for our community as always.
Amazing, amazing, Itsu. Now, I guess right now we're trying to reach out to the hard to reach population, Pacific and Maori population that are not vaccinated at the moment, and they're also vaccine hesitant. And I guess one of the good thing about having this event is having the doctors and nurses present at this event so that our people can come to and ask questions and have a talanoa about the vaccine. And also, I'm aware that there were incentives given at the event. Now, the population that we're trying to target now and we're aiming to reach out to, it takes incentives. It takes something to take home, in order for them to come out and get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Would you like to share about the, this event's being incentivized from morning?
Yes, this event, as I mentioned before, we had the commitment of and the love from our communities who gave in, donated vouchers, food packs, all of that was part of it. Incentives. They had a food pack to take home, hop cards, vouchers for shopping as well, and our people, if there's something that they know, and for people to get attracted to something, it's like, oh, I'm going to get something free. But at the same time, while we're enticing them to be part of that, they've come in and, people just want to be there. Some of them just want to be there. Some of them want to be attracted to the event because there's an incentive. But yeah, we had, $50 vouchers, $100 vouchers. We had, spot prizes, like we had a laptop spot prizes from our sponsors as well. We had food. There were donations of apples and kiwi fruit from the RSC. So there was a lot of donations being given. Auckland Unlimited, also from our transport, Auckland Transport, as well as our sedans as well, gave out some vouchers. So there was a lot of love and care that was given to, entice people to come to the event. But for those who are, for me, it's all about protecting our families, our loved ones, and yourself as well from this COVID. And, we want to put the message out for our people that, even if there's no vouchers for free, anything free to take home, always remember that you're trying to protect yourself. And I think that's the main thing. We will have anti-vaxxers and we'll have people who are still uncertain about that. I think it's important to talk to, as to your point, we have those doctors and nurses on site. You can talk to, if you're uncertain about anything, talk to your GP or talk to your nurses that are available, or even a doctor in your own family. If you have those health clinics, health clinicals, clinicians in your own communities, talk to them, because they would be able to explain to you the vaccine and not read anything that comes out of social media, because it's all, some of them are fake reports. So it's always the assurances go back to your doctors and health officials who can help support you in the space.
Thank you so much, Itu. Now, host from the Blue TV, myself and Asiata Pio had the privilege to host the Samoan stage alongside the likes of Taito Eritu Evi'i and Councillor Josephine Bartley. Now, speaking of Josephine, Itu, there was a big presence of government officials, Auckland Council officials at the event. Wasn't it great to have the backing and the support of the likes of Josephine Bartley, of our Minister for Pacific Island People, Honourable Aupito Su'a William Seal, and others?
Yeah, I believe that that is one of the the highlights, that we need the backing of our local government and our central government. It's good to see them there. Our local chairs for our boards. You had Maria Meredith, you had Lydia, and you also had likes of Lotufuli as well from Otara. And these are the people that are always there. If you look in our social media, their presence are always there. We have MP Anahila as well, and so is our councillors. And I had the opportunity to both, me and Chochi interviewed Josephine, our councillors, Josephine and Effiso Collins, so to talk about their thoughts and the events. And I know Josephine has been very proactive in the spaces with our vaccination drives. And there are certain things that have happened from our anti-vaxxers, but everybody's pushing forward, and we have to continue. But it's important that our people, like the Honourable Minister, to be there to support the work. I've seen, Jenny Salesa and also Carmel, all of our key Pacifica ministers out there supporting our communities. And also I saw Priyanka as well, our multi-ethnic affairs minister there on Saturday. And so it's the acknowledgement, our Mayor Phil Goff as well. But it's always good with their busy schedule. It's always nice for them to, would love for them to spend more time speaking to our community. But, commitment is always, they were moving from one event to the other, supporting all of us. So it's good to see them as well. But I know there's a lot of questions asked if more support in future can be given to our Pacifica people. And so we do look forward to that space. And we look forward to what they, can bring to help support our communities as well. And also highlighting that, leadership is always important to be out there with our community, so they know what you're doing in the space. And also people would want to ask questions about their thoughts on certain things. So yeah, it's really nice to see the support come for our mega vax here.
Vinaka Itu, MVP 1 is now done and dusted. Now, MVP 2, and judging from the response and the comments and the feedback from our people online on social media, they want to bring MVP back. They want to have an MVP drive-through vaccination event part 2. Now, where to from here, Itu, on behalf of the organising committee, where to from here, and what are some of the strategies and methods that will be implemented to try and reach out to the hard-to-reach population?
Well, at the moment, I can't say anything. I know that it all depends on what happens next, but yeah, it's not discounted that an event like this will happen again. And it comes down to planning. It has to be a lot of planning. I believe that we had an event that, it was right at the core. Last, the turnaround was the time frame that we had was very small, but, pulling together resources. But I believe that if there's anything that's going to happen in future, who knows, the boost is coming up. There could be potential to plan another event, but we'll, in terms of leadership, we wait for our leaders to see what's the plan for the next move. But there's no, we're not. I believe that the whole ELF forum and also the PCR with Manas's leadership as well with TLAI, there is potential to plan something as big as this. And we have a lot going on, but it's always good to bring our people together. So who knows what's going to happen in future, but definitely keep an eye, as they say, watch the space, and we'll see what happens in future.
Vinaka, Itu, now we must hear the call from our people that haven't been vaccinated and they missed out on the experience and the fun at MVP. So surely there will be an MVP too. Let's put that pressure on Northern Regional Health Coordination Centre and the people that have the money from the government now. Whatever money that you have left, you need to invest it all into one big event. Into one massive event, and call out to all the leaders and all the health providers to come together and drive one more Megavac Pacific so that we can not only 90%, but we can reach 100%. We want to make sure that everyone Pacific is vaccinated. So calling out to all the funders, all the sponsors, contributors, anyone that wants to volunteer, look out, because MVP is going to happen very soon. Now, thank you so much, Itu. Would you like to say a few words to conclude our interview, Talanoa?
Fesaitu Solomone, thank you so much, Lorenzo, for inviting me to contribute in my experience in terms of the Megavac Pacific, but just to encourage those who are not yet vaccinated or those who want to be in the space as well to help protect you and your families. We invite you to if you have an opportunity now, do so. Don't wait for the next event. We want to make sure that, we hit the summer's coming up for all of us, and we encourage everybody. And if you're unsure about anything with the vaccine or your health, please always talk to the professionals in the space, which they will be able to help support you properly, or talk to your leaders as well in the community. And we are more than happy to direct you to the key people who needs to be there. So that's all from me, and acknowledging the wonderful work of the leadership of the Pacific Leadership Forum, and also the Pacific COVID response team from Manasi and Telia, and the rest of our church leaders and our community leaders, and also all the volunteers and sponsors on the weekend who gave up their time to help the event become successful for Yaxia.
Vinaka, Itu Fayasea, also acknowledging your two, the biggest followers of Itu online is Pia Vai Tolusemu and Georgie Vai. Vinaka Vakaliu, thank you so much. I just want to acknowledge you, Itu. Thank you so much for the work that you do, and for taking many of your professional hats off, but actually coming down to grassroots and serve our people with our community. Thank you so much. May God bless, and we'll see you at MVP too.
Thanks, yeah.
That is part one for Pacific Health Talanoa with Lorenzo Kaisara. Don't forget, Blue TV had the privilege and honor to host the main stage at MVP 1. Hopefully, we'll be back at, you'll see us again at MVP 2. I'm going to take a break, and when we come back, I've got the biggest news in the whole of New Zealand now. The very first Pacifica person, very first Samoan to be appointed as a Vice Chancellor for one of the biggest university of New Zealand. I'll be right back. I've got a very special notice from Countess Manukai Police are appealing to the public for sightings of a missing boy in Papakura. Coleon, aged 9, went missing after leaving an address on Wesleydale Place overnight at around 3 a.m. His current whereabouts is unknown, and the police are carrying out a number of inquiries in the Papakura area to locate him. Coleon was wearing white shorts and a t-shirt and was barefoot when he left the address. Police are appealing to the public for any sightings of a boy matching his description. Anyone with information is asked to phone 105, not 111, 105, quoting the phone number 211-115-0354. Now, the phone number again is 211-115-0354. Please, let's all help and support to make sure that this young boy returns home. Anyways, I've got the biggest news in Aotearoa, New Zealand now. Man, I'm so proud. I'm a very proud Pacifica. I'm a very proud Samoan. AUT is excited to announce that the AUT Council has appointed a Dr. Damon Salisa as AUT's next Vice Chancellor. Pacific Scholar and Senior University Sector Leader Dr. Damon Salisa has been appointed to be the next Vice Chancellor of the Te Wananga Aranui of Tamaki Makaurau Auckland University of Technology, or AUT. The appointment is a result of a global search after current Vice Chancellor Derek McCormick announced his retirement in March 2022 after 18 years at the helm. Congratulations, o mai te paki whānau, ia mula whionga ia tui sulusulu Dr. Damon Salisa. Well done, ia o mamana o le mātou ai aiuli atu, ia au e alo whaiva I lau ta whinga whou, taua loa a wā I ele AUT ele ngata whoi lea, alo matama whanau, alo tātou atunuu, a male Pacifica. Now, let's bring up a quick updates for COVID-19 for today, 15th of November 2021. The number of new cases today, 173. 173 new cases in the community, 163 in Auckland, 7 in Waikato, and 2 in Northland. 4,823 total community cases linked to the current outbreak or Delta, 90 people in hospital, and 7 of them are in ICU. And that is our updates for COVID-19 today. Don't forget, there is a lot of drive-through vaccination events this weekend. I'm aware that there's a big one at Mangere Town Centre on Saturday. The Mary's Boys, is it Mary's Boys or Mary's Old Boys Pupils Association are going to host a drive-through vaccination event at Mangere Town Centre, which will be open from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. this Saturday. Now, just keep checking out our Facebook page, our Blue TV page, and we'll be posting up all the events that are happening this weekend. But thank you so much. Shout out to my Blue TV crew, shout out to the management, and shout out to my colleagues, hosts. Thank you for serving our Pacific community. From Blue TV, by Pacific, for Pacific. I'll see you tomorrow.